welcome to the Gadgets and Gizmos show on Headlines Today. I'm Siddharth Sharma, and over the next half an hour, we've lined up a far-packed show for all you guys out there. Wondering what's up our sleeves? Take a look at the lineup. On the show this week, plenty of new launches from big guns of the tech world. Also, for all you PlayStation 4 lovers, there's a new game in town and we get you a review of that. And a powerhouse home entertainment system from the house of JBL. Alright then, that is our lineup on the show, and first up what we have for you is something that was trending the entire week. The Bendgate scandal. iPhone 6 launched in the West recently and it bends better than David Beckham. And not on purpose. And that's not it. There are a few more problems as well. Next up, we take a look at some of those problems that iPhone 6 users might face.
Expected to arrive in India in mid-October, the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus is Apple's biggest and supposedly best iPhone to date. But it isn't all shiny roses. Here are the 5 things we seriously think is wrong with the all-new iPhone 6 models. It seems Apple's all-aluminium design can't withstand the truly awesome stresses of being placed in the front pocket of a pair of skinny jeans. Over the past few days, numerous reports have begun to flood in, indicating how just a bit of pressure can cause the phone to deform. While the problem mostly affects the general tight jeans wearing public, it certainly does not boast well for Apple's quality assurance team. The iPhone 5 and 5S were metallic beauties with sleek flat edging and style in buckets. Sadly, the new iPhone 6 looks to have borrowed heavily from the likes of HTC M8, especially with its new rounded frame. We're sure it's comfortable to clutch and fondle, but the iPhone in its latest iteration is no longer unique. We are really glad that the iPhone 6 Plus supports Full HD. But the iPhone 6 Standard Edition is just 326 ppi. We will of course have to wait to do a full side-by-side comparison here on Gadgets and Gizmos, but those Retina screens are going to have to be something very special to surpass the best Android displays. We can't really get excited about the majority of the iPhone 6's new sparkly features, because they've existed on Android for ages. Custom keyboards, bigger screens, video chat, NFC, nothing new here. Been there, done that. While the price of the iPhone 6 has still not been set by Apple, the cheapest version could set you back by a shocking 60,000 rupees. With a price tag like that, it does beg to ask the question, is it really worth it?
Now, Sony came out with not one but 2 new smartphones in the Indian market. After showcasing the Xperia Z3 and the Z3 Compact in IFA earlier this year, the new flagship offerings are finally here in India. Let's take a look at the specs of these new smartphones from the house of Sony. There are 2 new smartphones Sony has come out with for the Indian market. Meet the Sony Xperia Z3 and the Sony Xperia Z3 Compact. The Xperia Z3 is Sony's thinnest Android flagship to date, with a profile that measures in at just 7.3mm. Despite the slender build, however, the Z3 still packs some amazing hardware. Xperia Z3 has a 5.2-inch Full HD display with 1920 by 1080 resolution and is IP65 and IP68 waterproof and dust tight. For performance, it features a 2.5 GHz quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon processor with Adreno 330 GPU and 3 GB of RAM. Xperia Z3 is also PlayStation certified and has PS4 remote play functionality. Inbuilt memory is 16 GB, that is expandable up to 128 GB. There is also a 3100 mAh battery on it. Xperia Z3 runs on Android 4.4 KitKat operating system. When it comes to the camera, Xperia Z3 features a 20.7 megapixel camera with Sony Xperia RS or mobile image sensor. It is also capable of doing 4K video recording. You also get a 2.2 megapixel front-facing camera. Sony Xperia Z3 is priced at Rs 51,999. Now let's take a look at its younger sibling, the Xperia Z3 Compact. The younger brother is lightweight and has just 4.6-inch HD display on it with 1280 by 720 resolution. Xperia Z3 Compact also packs in a 2.5 GHz quad-core Qualcomm Snapdragon processor with Adreno 330 GPU, but only has 2 GB of RAM.
Now next up, what we have is for all you PlayStation lovers out there. Recently a new game has come out for the PlayStation 4. It's called Destiny, and now Sahil Maniktala gets you a review of this new game.
Yes, Siddharth, one of the most anticipated games of the year has finally reached the Indian shores. I'm of course talking about Destiny, which is available both on the PS4 and the Xbox One. Now this was one game which created a lot of hype during the E3 launch event. So naturally the expectations for this one were extremely high. But the question is, will this game actually meet those expectations? Well, next up we try to find out just that. Here is the review for Destiny.
These Guardians show us what we are and what we will be again.
Bungie's latest sci-fi first-person shooter game, Destiny, is here. And for those of you unfamiliar with the video game studio, it's kind of a big deal. Bungie, of course, created the Xbox Series Halo, one of the biggest video game franchises of the past 15 years. And this year, Bungie marks a new chapter with Destiny.
Guardians are fighting on Earth and beyond. Join them. Push back the darkness.
The game takes place in humanity's distant future, after we spread out to colonize the local solar system, only to be nearly wiped out by evil aliens called the Darkness. You play the Guardian, one of the last defenders of humanity, ready to fight back the darkness across the solar system. Not exactly the most original storyline by any means, but then again, it's usually the gameplay that makes a game fun.
This is where we'll find him. I hope you're ready.
And make no mistake, Destiny is fun. It's stylish and technically amazing. As a player, you get to experience hours of action-packed epic battles and top-quality gunslinging as you progress through each level. In fact, it's exactly what you would expect from a great shooter game. But sadly, it isn't the technical side of Destiny that stumbles, but rather its narrative and world building.
At times, Destiny is a thrilling game featuring epic battles against resilient foes. In fact, it shares striking similarities to Halo, which made that one of the most popular franchises of all time. But the problem is, the further you dive into Destiny's gameplay, you do begin to notice that something isn't quite right.
As fun as it is, its run and gun style of gameplay is also the biggest problem with Destiny. There's so much of it and not enough of everything else. It's as if the game developers crammed as much action as they could at first and made everything else seem tiny and irrelevant. prime focus seemed to be more shooting, less thinking. While the enemies are challenging and great to fight against, the worlds they inhabit feel pretty empty. They are large but lack content. And as a result, Destiny doesn't offer a real sense of exploration or discovery.
Now, one of the greatest strengths of Destiny lies within its amazing visuals. The art directors in this game have done a beautiful job of creating a complex cosmic world that just takes your breath away. In fact, many times I had to stop playing my game just so I could stare at the environment around me, because that's how powerful the visuals of Destiny actually are. But that being said, sometimes good scenery is just not good enough to keep a viewer engaged. Sometimes you also need something known as story development, something that this game seriously lacks.
Visually, Destiny is undoubtedly a beautiful game. The PS4 version runs at a rock-solid 30 frames per second and 1080 pixels. So it's a real shame that Mission Campaign fails to take advantage of this. Several of the missions revisit previously played challenges, so players are repeating most of the same battles over and over again. And it really doesn't help when missions tend to follow a similar formula. The saving grace of this game is playing with friends. And Bungie continues to show they're a masterclass at online play. Destiny's competitive multiplayer is exciting, fast-paced and entertaining. The guns and abilities feel powerful as well. And playing multiplayer is certainly not wasted time for your character, as you will earn new equipment as well as experience while you play.
Now, by no means is Destiny a bad game, but it's also not a great one either. The future of this game lies within the hands of its developers, who need to add a breath of fresh air into this new universe. But as it stands of now, Destiny is a game that has yet to fulfill, well, its destiny.
And that's not the only game that we have on the show. If you are more of a tablet gamer, then you should check out this next game. It's called Milk Hunt. Playing games can help the brain develop, and now it will challenge you with some mental maths too. Milk Hunt is the new game available on iPad that aims just to do that. This is an educational game developed by Skiddos, a gaming studio that makes fun and challenging learning games. The gameplay is good and intriguing. Based in Australia is Kando, a zippy kangaroo who needs your help as he travels across Australia in an adventurous hunt for milk. He can roll, jump, glide, fly and swim, but Kando can't do mental math. That's where you step in with your agile brain. Solve the problem to collect milk bottles and set a new distance record. Customize your learning plan to test your skills in addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions and many more topics, all aligned to Common Core standards. Milk Hunt is developed using Apple's SpriteKit game engine and is an ideal game for age 6 and above. The game is exclusively available on iOS for iPads and iPhones. And can be downloaded from the Apple App Store for $2.99. This game is definitely milking some maths out of you guys, and Kando is just too cute to ignore. And with that, it's time for us to say goodbye on this edition of the Gadgets and Gizmos show. If you have any comments, queries or suggestions, tweet us at HLTGizmos. You can also email us on htgg@aajtak.com. We'll see you same time, same place next week. But for all the news and updates, keep watching Headlines Today.